Hey, look at this poster that I made. But also, look at this shirt that I recently bought. Somebody painted this on here, which means that I can't wash it, which means that I can't stain it, which is gonna be a problem. But for as of now, take a look. It's clean. And I think it's working. Anyway, the reason you click on this video was to find out what the hell the watermelon problem is, right? Right? Didn't you? That's what you clicked for, right? If you did, hey, I'd love to tell you. I'd love to tell you why or what it is. It all started when I turned 25. A couple weeks leading up to it, I thought that sometimes people like to think. And it went, what the am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? But don't get me wrong, I love my life. I love my day-to-day. I love the people that are in my life. But I couldn't shake this anxiety-inducing feeling that somehow time was escaping me. At least a lot faster than I would like it to. Right, anyways. There I was turning 25, thinking to myself, damn, time is going by incredibly quickly right now. The thing is, time is a constant. It's the one thing we can't press pause on, right? Which then brought me to my next existential question, which was, how much time do I even have left? You see, the thing is, but we'll never know how much time we have left. It's an impossible question. But how much time we think we have left largely dictates how we live our lives. So following this train of thought, I asked my friends an interesting question. How many weeks do you think the average person lives?
Oh, it's a math question?
That's crazy. 2,000? Probably 4,000 weeks.
Probably, I'll say around 6,000.
6,000 is actually pretty close. 6,000 is pretty close. The answer is 4,000.
Okay.
Not with how I've lived.
So interestingly enough, most of my friends had pretty good guesses as to how many weeks the average person lives. Except for Harry.
50,000.
Harry was off by 46,000 weeks. This was his reaction when I told him the answer.
Really? 4,000 weeks?
4,000 weeks. 4,000 weeks.
That doesn't feel like that many.
Personally, I resonate with Harry's response the most. 4,000 weeks seems incredibly short, doesn't it? When I was approaching my 25th birthday, I stumbled upon this book. 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. And chapter 5, titled The Watermelon Problem, was the chapter that moved me the most. So in the year 2016, a young BuzzFeed channel started a live video in which these two reporters wrapped rubber bands around a watermelon for 43 minutes. 3 million people tuned in to watch this. Now, when you start, it's really hard to stop. You really feel committed to finding out how many elastics it's going to take for this watermelon to explode. In this book about time management, Berkman uses this as an example to illustrate that most of us aren't very deliberate in how we use the precious moments within our 4,000 weeks. It's pretty safe to say that most of the people watching that watermelon video didn't wake up with the intention of using a portion of their lives to watch a watermelon explode. The comments speak for themselves. Which brings us right back here to this poster. So maybe you're smart and you figured it out. Did you? What do you think it is? What do you think? Well, if you didn't guess it, each one of these watermelons represents 1 week in an 80-year-old lifespan. And you can see that I have crossed off how many weeks I've lived up to date, which is around 1,300 weeks. It's a nice poster. What do you think? It's pretty good. I like it. I made it. Kind of biased. But it's a nice poster because it reminds me of how short life is. It's a nice reminder when I'm scrolling endlessly through social media platforms and watching hours of YouTube content, kind of like you are right now. No, but keep watching. We're almost there. Because the solution isn't this poster. The solution actually comes when we realize that we all want to be distracted. I know what you're thinking. I do. You're thinking to yourself, I love my life. Why would I want to be distracted? I was thinking the same thing. But the reality is that we're all willing accomplices in the transactions between the platforms that want our attention. You see, there's us that want to be distracted, and then there's the social media platforms that are so good at holding our attention. So you can see how this relationship is really, really hard to break. But luckily, the author in this book, remember this guy? 4,000 Weeks? 4,000 Weeks? Huh? Get it? Putting it together? Has provided us some really interesting solutions to this problem that we all face. So what I like so much about this book is that all of his solutions, all of Oliver's solutions are around this idea of embracing your limits. What does that mean? He's basically like, hey guy, you're not Superman. Stop trying to do everything. And so the first piece of advice comes in the form of accepting defeat. Accepting defeat? Isn't that incredibly anticlimactic? The thing is, I think that's what I love so much about his book is the fact that all of his advice is so sobering. He's basically saying that the things that we expect out of our time and ourselves is too much. Our expectations are too high. At least when I was turning 25, I felt all this pressure to have everything put together. All the aspects of my life had to be just at a very respectable level. But they all felt that they were at a mediocre level because they all demanded so much time. And so his advice comes in the form of accepting defeat and realizing that these 4,000 weeks that we have aren't a lot of time, and so we need to choose the things that we actually care about. And that's how we should spend our time. Basically, life's short, and ain't that a... My favorite quote in the entire book honestly encapsulates this second piece of advice better than anything else I can say. It goes, it's the very last thing, isn't it? We feel grateful for having happened. You know, you needn't have happened. You needn't have happened. But you did happen. Shout out Douglas, man. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into this one because I feel like the quote is so powerful and profound on its own. But basically, what I think Douglas here is saying is that as soon as you understand that your life isn't a given and that your existence is a form of privilege and a form of miracle, then a profound perspective shift can happen. Where some of the more unbearable things about life, like waiting, for example, can become a little bit more bearable. When you think about waiting in the sense that I get to wait instead of I have to wait, and honestly, that's a pretty profound way about thinking about our time because you shift from this idea of controlling your time or trying to change your current situation and really just appreciating that you get to have time in the first place. If you made it this far in the video, God bless you, for real. You are a real one, and you're probably either my mom, my close friends, or my girlfriend, maybe? I thought I'd end the video off right here, watching a sunrise. A pretty mediocre sunrise, if I do say so myself, but a sunrise nonetheless. Anyway, the author's last piece of advice comes in the form of finding meaning in finitude. He basically says that if our lives were endless, a lot of the things that we find exciting and significant would become insignificant. Like our birthdays or any other celebration. We knew that our lives were endless, then birthdays would become insignificant. If we knew that we could graduate from endless different programs, then each graduation wouldn't be special at all. And so it's the very thing that we try and fight that actually brings our life's meaning. And so the idea is to embrace this idea that our lives are incredibly short, find meaning within that, and try and appreciate each moment for what it really is. Anyway, that's that. God bless you. I'm out.